April 16th. Salma appeals to the Eben Vanguard by Morrow. Princess Salma has dispatched emissaries north to the Shiver Peak Mountains to enlist the aid of the Eben Vanguard, according to numerous anonymous reports. The Eben Vanguard, an Ascalonian fighting force based in the far Shiver Peaks, has years of experience launching raids into Char territory. Scholars believe that the Ascalonians cannot spare a large expeditionary force to aid the Krytan rebels and are more likely to provide training and support. Reports indicate that Evennia, Salma's key advisor and former Shining Blade leader, will personally travel to the Eye of the North to meet with the Eben Vanguard leadership. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. We're back here at the Eye of the North. Now, this video, I'm not sure specifically how long it's going to get. Ah, yes, and the decorations are here as well. It's going to be quite weird doing the War in Kryta with all these decorations up in Lion's Arch. We'll kind of, I guess, you'll just have to excuse that. I mean, we are, I suppose, as the war's going on, it is supposed to be happening during normal Lion's Arch weather, but that should only be a minor thing. But yeah, this video, I'm not sure how long this video is going to get, but I've been looking forward to this one. This one we'll deal with, basically it's going to push the plot forward quite far, quite quickly. There's a lot of dialogue to read out. A lot of really interesting stuff actually will be going on. I'm not even sure whether we'll do any fighting, so I'm just going to leave my party for now. There is just a lot of generally really cool stuff that's going to be happening in the story here. Particularly some of the more interesting story stuff going on. And that is to do with how Kryta and Ascalon, the two remaining human provinces, kind of view each other. Because of course, back in Prophecies, near the start of Prophecies, you saw that a little bit. You kind of heard a little bit of the lore about the Krytans, about the guild wars, and how a lot of the sort of older generation of Ascalonians, particularly King Adalburn, still hate the Krytans, and they were at war, and they were, you know, only very uneasy allies at best. And we had all that interesting stuff with Ambassador Zane not being allowed into the city and stuff, into Ascalon City. Well, this is the first time since then, really, you get to see an extended dialogue between the two nations, sort of looking at each other in diplomatic terms. It's really, really, really quite cool. And this is going to tie together everything we've seen. We've seen a lot of stuff happen with Kieran and Gwen. We've already tied in the MOX stuff. We know what kind of has led there. Basically, now we've got two Asura who are going to be helping out that Livia ended up recruiting. But you remember when Livia left, and you must remember if you've just watched the start of this video, Evennia also left. She came to try and recruit some help from the Ascalonians. And now that we've finished all of the Gwen Thackeray romance stuff, that will kick off. We can come out here into the Ice Cliff Chasms and just see some really fantastic dialogue that's got some cool hints to other areas of lore and stuff as well. So yeah, we'll come out here, and here's Evennia. She says, "Hail, Langmar, captain of the Eben Vanguard. How you doing, Evennia? Evennia of the Shining Blade, what brings you to the Eye of the North, so far from your warm sandy Kryta?" And don't forget, obviously, Evennia took a lot longer to recruit and come here than Livia did. In terms of gameplay updates, Livia sort of returned much quicker than we found out what happened with Evennia. "I won't waste time beating around the bush. I've come to ask for your help. The White Mantle numbers may have dwindled, but they make up for it with increased brutality, while Princess Salma's support among the people grows even stronger." Yeah, there's a cool line coming up in a minute about the Peacekeepers, which I'd actually missed first time around. "But now the Mantle have taken to hiring thugs from the Outlands and beyond to terrorize us all done with the flimsy excuse of keeping order and peace. Each day brings new indignity and suffering to my people." This is really cool. Outlands and beyond. I love that little hint. So these like weird dwarf looking guys and the Saurus Furnace big things are from some other like area of Tyria that we've never seen. That's kind of cool. "The Shining Blade and Eben Vanguard have enjoyed a fruitful friendship before. Please, Kryta beseeches you, aid us." And Gwen says, "The Char keep our handfuls, Krytan." See this? I love the way she kind of spits Krytan there. "You think we'll abandon all that we've bled for and march down to Kryta just to bail you out? The only thing I expect, girl, is that the Eben Vanguard would express gratitude after Kryta took in so many Ascalonian refugees." Which is a fair point. I love the way these guys have been written, because there is animosity between the two nations. It's so cool. Gwen has a valid point. Evennia, "Ascalon needs the Vanguard here in the Shiver Peaks. However, we have no love for the White Mantle. Should we agree, what is Princess Salma prepared to do for Ascalon?" Okay, don't forget what I said about Evennia as well. She was the leader of the Shining Blade at the end of Prophecies, but she stepped down to be more of a diplomat, and this is sort of the best example of her fulfilling that role. "Princess Salma has authorized me to reciprocate your offer. Should Ascalon's troops join us in taking back our country from these tyrants, when Kryta will assist in driving the Char, then Kryta will assist in driving the Char from your lands for good." I don't know if the Krytans have the power to do that to the Char, not right now, but after Ascalon's so far fallen, but it's an interesting proposition. And Langmar accepts. She says, very well. I accept on behalf of the Even Vanguard, but we're not done. King Adelburn must also approve. Kryta is drowning! She needs your help now, not after months of dithering with Adelburn. You know he distrusts all things Krytan. I was hoping you'd be more reasonable. Also, I love how Langmar here has actually got a bit of dialogue. She hasn't had any dialogue yet in Guild Wars Beyond, but obviously she's the leader of the Even Vanguard. So don't forget, Thackeray's just the leader of the Falcons. She says, Ascalon can no longer afford to pick and choose our allies as the Shah continue devastating all we hold dear. Remind King Adelburn of our need for allies in the coming conflicts, and he'll do the right thing. So yeah, I did say in Eye of the North, Langmar, you only got to meet in Eye of the North after you'd finished all the Char Homeland missions. And I did mention when I pointed that out, that Langmar would have a bigger role in Guild Wars Beyond, and this is kind of where it starts. Please, I implore you, says Evennia, please do not force such a delay. Is there no way I could convince you to help us sooner? I could perhaps send a single elite Even Vanguard unit to train your peasants to fight and conduct critical missions throughout the region, while you garner the King's blessing for a larger force. That sound good, Evennia? I love the way they're just sort of actually discussing this. It's so good. I'm still skeptical, but if that's the nature of your support, then so be it. These elite better be good. If you supply me with rations for the trip, I could leave immediately for Ascalon City and gain audience with King Adelburn. Princess Salma plans to retake control of Lion's Arch within the fortnight. I hope your men can be there by then. See, that's a long walk as well. Evennia goes on a very long walk now. It will take her a very, 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 very long time to reach her destination. More than enough time to prepare, and the travel is instant by the Yasura Gate, says Langmar, which is fair enough. So Evennia's moving on. Is she just going back into the thing? You off, Evennia, really? Has she just accepted it? Well, that's settled, says Langmar. Yeah, so there's Evennia. She's off on her long journey to Ascalon. Wave goodbye, guys. See you later, Evennia. Good luck, Evennia. See ya. Yeah, so these guys start talking behind her back. Sorry, they say, well, that's settled now. Who's going to assist the Krytans against the White Mantle? I'll go, says Thackeray. What? Says Gwen. Captain, please, I really must insist that this is a bad idea. The Even Falcons will go to Kryta, says Thackeray. We can train the Shining Blade recruits on hit-and-run tactics, ambush techniques, tracking, tricks that we've picked up fighting the Char over the years. And what's your problem, Gwen? You fobbed him off. You've had enough chances. Captain, surely we need Lieutenant Thackeray here in the Shiver Peaks. His unit is the cornerstone of our operation. Really? We never heard of the Even Falcons. They were completely missing in Eye of the North. Are they really the cornerstone? Or are you just making this up, Gwen? Are you sure about this, Lieutenant, says Langmar? Who's she going to listen to? Gwen or Thackeray? Absolutely. I wouldn't mind a little sun. Besides, there's nothing to keep me here. It's been quiet lately, and I'm a soldier. I know where the fight is. Ooh, that's pretty bitter. That's laced with venom right there. There's nothing to keep me here. Ouch. That would have cut into Gwen. The fight is here. The Even Valgans are needed here. Why not send Westar on Nye's unit? People we've met before, nice references to these little guys. I love the little comments as well, like how he wants the sun and stuff. It's so well thought out. This is some of the best dialogue I've really seen in Guild Wars, I've got to say. You're right, Gwen. They are our most successful. And I promised Evennia our elite. We can afford to pull a single company from patrol rotation, even if it's the Even Falcons. Ouch, Gwen, that kind of backfired on you there. Captain Langmar, I must protest. If you're not going to trust my judgment on these matters... And she's supposed to be interrupted. On the contrary, Gwen, I trust your judgment implicitly, which is why I'm leaving you here in command of the Even Vanguard while I travel to Kryta with Lieutenant Thackeray's men. Shock horror, promotion for Gwen. So yeah, she's a huge character come Guild Wars 2. She does all this stuff with Evenhawk. She gets some promotion to reach that. What? But I'm the best at training people with no military background, and the Falcons would be far more valuable conducting special operations than training peasants. Fair enough, Langmar. So you want to go to Kryta? This is a typical example of an officer, not someone getting a promotion to something. They don't really like their new job. They prefer what they were originally doing. Besides, I want Salma to see that I'm serious about this alliance. Take good care of my vanguard while I'm gone, Gwen. You know what to do. Wow. So they're off. Kieran stays with Thackeray. She says, Lieutenant Kieran. Yes, he says. Is there something you wanted to say to me, Gwen? Last chance. No. No. Yeah, I didn't think so. Goodbye, Gwen. Oh, isn't it heartbreaking? But you're supposed to be together! Ah! No, okay, so... they say goodbye. There's something interesting about Gwen here now. This emote right here, that looks like /cry. This is the only time we see this. I think there's one guy in Nightfall that does it as well. Slash cry. It doesn't actually exist in the game. I'll show you right now. You can't slash cry. It's an unknown command. People have been asking for it for a long time, and people thought when they saw that Gwen crying, I remember a lot of posts on the forums about that. Hey, are we going to be able to cry soon? But apparently not. That's not been added, and this was added, as you know, like a year ago now. So it was never added. But there is an emote in the game for crying. I don't know why it's not available to players. A little bit interesting in that regard, I suppose. It's actually some more information about the emote system in Guild Wars 2 came out recently. It doesn't sound like you're going to be able to develop your own like emotes. Like there's something that other MMOs do where you can type like /me and then something. So it would be like /me and then it would come up Peter Redhill walks to the door or something like that. You know, as a custom emote. It doesn't sound like you get those in Guild Wars 2, but that's a bit of a shame. You know, this being Winter's Day here, this actually reminds me. It's kind of annoying because if we just put off War in Kryta. I mean, I didn't want to pay it off, but it is a bit funny to think if we had paid it off a little bit, we could have seen the legit Winter's Day quest that originally started Eye of the North, Guild Wars Beyond, rather than the one we first did when we first met Thackeray out there. But in any case, so there you go. That's like a huge development there. Okay, so basically, Langmar's back in the story. Basically, we haven't seen much of Langmar. We didn't see much of her in of the North, and in fact in the Dungeon series we didn't see much of her either, but she's in the story now, which is pretty cool. And obviously Gwen is now left here alone, and she's in charge of the Eben Vanguard up here, so we've kind of got a new character introduced, and it's all tied together now. All the characters, all the main players, they're in Kryta. What we're about to see is sort of one of the last parts, actually. Oh, do you know what I should have started this video with? Oh no, well never mind, it doesn't really matter. So now we've got them all, everybody's basically in place, and as I said at the end of the last video, this time, I should have opened with this one really, we're going to have access to a new area. This is the Lion's Arch Keep, okay, this keep here, this is basically where the royalty would usually stay in Lion's Arch. This is but where they'd hang out. We never got to go there, or it never came into the story during Prophecies, of course, because there was no royalty, there was no monarchy in the events of Prophecies, because the White Mantle were in charge, and in fact you can see lots of White Mantle banners and flags going around. That's one thing I did quite a lot in Prophecies. I kept mentioning whenever White Mantle flags were around. It's because when I was doing Prophecies, Guild Wars, I'd just finished playing the Guild Wars Beyond, the War in Kryta content, basically, and they do something really interesting with the flags here once you actually come into this keep. So everyone's in place, and now we will find that we can speak to this guy here, the Lion's Arch Keep Gate Guard. Well, I actually showed you at the start of this video, you don't have to see before you gain access here, but now that we do, it will sort of trigger a new bit of dialogue down here. So we can speak to this guy and actually get entrance. He says, "Greetings, adventurer. Princess Salma has returned to the keep. You and your allies may enter." So Princess Salma's actually made a move for the keep. This was something quite interesting. I've looked around on the web page and I couldn't find it, sadly. But I very much remember one thing everyone was talking about, sort of the lore nerds. We were all sitting around talking about. The thing that excited us most was Salma coming back to Lion's Arch, right? We were all excited about her big assault on the White Mantle to retake the keep. But in the end, it just kind of happens in the background. There's no mission, there's no story there, there's no dialogue. She just appears there, she kind of teleports there. I think that's mostly due to the fact that ArenaNet didn't really have the time or the inclination to have a mission where she attacks the keep, and that could arguably have been the climax of Guild Wars Beyond, really. It could have very easily been written like that. The whole thing could have been sort of preparing to have this huge assault and this big battle here at Lion's Arch, but they didn't do it that way. Instead it happens in the background and Salma just appears, and I seem to remember some lore somewhere, I thought it was a Morrow article, but it's not, or somehow that explains when Salma gets there. But in any case, she's actually here at the Cape now. She, as far as I remember, like as I said, I haven't read this since then, but as far as I remember, the story was that the Lion Guard, as you know, we started this Guild Wars Beyond stuff with the Lion Guard. The Lion Guard are loyal to the monarchy. They're loyal to Salma rather than the White Mantle, so they're kind of a separate faction. And because the Lion Guard are in charge here at Lion's Arch, they just turned around and said, "Oh, hell yeah, no, you can just come straight through." And that's basically the story there. They just let Salma come. I can't remember where I know that from, though, which makes me question how true it is. I think it must have just been a developer posting on the forums or something. But okay, sorry, I'm teasing enough. Please allow my party to access the keep. The keep is open to all who have helped return Princess Salma to the throne. Are you ready to go? Yes, I'd like to enter the keep now. I remember when this first came out, everyone was in Lion's Arch, and they were just going, "Oh, how do we get into the keep?" Because it was the first new place. So here we go. Obviously, it's not snowy now. Do excuse that. But yes, here we go. This is the Lion's Arch Keep. It's pretty awesome, and up here we will see there's going to be some dialogue happening here, because we've just seen that thing with the Eben Falcon. So imagine a couple of weeks have passed, and now, or hell, imagine that we walk down here with them. So the Eben Falcons, or at least two of them, Langmar and Thackeray, the two sort of heads of them, have come here. And they say, Captain Langmar and Lieutenant Thackeray at your service. Welcome to Kryta, dear friends, says Salma. We are overjoyed with the Eben Vanguard's assistance. Was it just the two of you then? My unit waits outside, eager to find the action. See, this is interesting as well. They never define specifically how many of the Eben Falcons come to Kryta. I suppose that's a good thing that they do. At least it lets us imagine that there's a lot more than maybe the game engine could actually handle. Ascalon sends a single unit and calls that aid. Where's Evennia? Obviously, she failed to clarify Kryta's needs, Your Highness. Says Vela. That was Vela who says that. Ascalon has sent no one yet. As I told Evennia, it's not the Eben Vanguard's place to formalise such an alliance, says Langmar. She now travels to Ascalon to seek audience with King Adelburn. He decides where to send Ascalon's troops. Right. And yet here you are, Captain. Aren't you and your men Ascalon's troops? Well, yeah, they're doing it for a favour for you, Salma. So accept it. Correct, Highness. We are on leave. See, they're not even paid to be here. What great guys. In conflicts such as these, speed is paramount. We are here as consultants to give Ascalon enough time to carefully consider her involvement. I have faith that Evennia's strong persuasive skills and the promise of support in our war against the Child will sway King Adelburn's mind in Kryta's favour. I don't know about that. King Adelburn's a bit of a stubborn bastard. And in fact, oh god, there's something I really want to talk about. Until Ascalon joins you in full force, you have our knowledge at your disposal. But I'm going to have to not mention it. This is frustrating. Okay, never mind. I see. Then we accept your counsel for now, but I hope King Adelburn doesn't take too long to commit to alliance. Kryta will need more than this to win the war against her oppressors. Well, alright, don't be too upset. I love the emotes. It's like in Guild Wars Beyond, they try and use so many emotes to make the conversations a little bit more interactive, but it just looks so out of place. I share the sentiment, Highness. I'd hate to place my faith in error. I'm just being here is a risk. I understand completely, Captain. Kryta thanks you for any assistance you might give her. This conversation isn't as good as the other one, I don't think. It's a lot more of formalities. But there we go. So Thackeray and Langmar will now walk out. Do you guys actually say anything to us? No, they don't. But yeah, so basically there are changes now, okay? We've just pushed the storyline quite far forward. There are a lot of changes that are going to happen around Kryta. You remember how when we started the war in Kryta, new mobs started appearing every now and then? Well, basically, when we saw the dialogue where Evennia first left and Livia first left to go recruit help, there were more very minor changes in all of the areas. A few more events became available, and yeah, I'm going to call them events. More Peacekeepers and White Mantle were added to the area. And now that we've pushed it to this point, basically, all of the explorable areas have completely changed, right? So, from what they originally were. I mean, so now there's going to be lots of well, there's a single guy called Courier Falcon who we'll talk about next video. But he's going to be running around and he's got all kinds of quests for us to do. There's going to be loads of new stuff, loads of new people. For instance, the Eben Falcons, a lot of those guys will actually now appear as allies for us instead of just the regular few. There's just going to be a lot of general changes that have happened around Kryta. We've also got all this stuff here in the Keep, which we'll look at next video. Don't worry about that. And yeah, so lots of cool stuff. Basically, this is where the gameplay starts. This is, if you just skip and go as fast as you possibly can and you don't care about the dialogue, basically everything I've shown you in this series, all the 14 of these videos so far, you can do very, very quickly, and there's very little actual gameplay involved in that section of the war in Kryta. But now we're going to be seeing what you would consider as actual missions. We're going to be going to semi-new explorable areas. They do some interesting stuff there, lots of cool stuff. So it's all going to kick off from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to have to make a decision if I should talk about something that could potentially be a big spoiler now for next video. But yeah, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. I just remembered to bring Charlie out right at the end of the video. How bad is that? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you later.